Jamie, first, no spoilers, of course, about the ending of the show, but could you describe in 3 emojis what we should expect from it?
The crying emoji, the scared emoji, and the fire emoji.
In this season, we get to see more of Vecna's powers, his background story. So for you, from where did you start to reconnect with the character after these couple years to understand what else you needed to do with him this season?
I never let him go. I didn't let him go between seasons 4 and 5. It was always going on in the back of my mind. This was something that I'd spent so much time building and creating, knowing that I had to come back to it, knowing what it felt like to step into it for the first time and how much work that took. I was like, I'm not going to let this go. I'm going to hold on to this. I'm going to continue to just let this tick away in the back of the mind so that when I do get the phone call, it's like, all right, you got a month. You know, I'm not like, oh, Jesus. I'm like, I actually know what I'm doing and I know how it feels. The development of the character is something that hopefully we can come back and talk more about because, yes, there were moments of development that I had both in sort of offset and onset too. And yeah, I'll leave that there.
You've all done very different projects since Stranger Things, and coming back to season 5, what felt most different and how you guys approach your characters compared to the early seasons?
Every year you kind of got to meet the character where they're at. Things have changed, you've changed, the character is going through something different, and you're always sort of, at the beginning I think, a little confused and you sort of are trying to get used to it, but then as you're sinking your teeth into it, working through the season, you kind of find things that either resonate with you and your connection with the character. I think this time it was different for everyone, I think.
And you all have already played some really bad guys in big productions before, like Twilight, Harry Potter, now Stranger Things. So what do you think that makes a villain iconic as Vecna is becoming now?
First and foremost, character-wise, you have to be able to understand, relate, empathize, and feel villain. I think you have to be able to truly know where it's coming from, regardless of whether or not you agree with what's going on. But you have to understand it. I mean, even a character like Pinhead, you know, you understand that this is a sort of manifestation of this idea of desire and hell, effectively. So, you know, I think there's that. And then I also think that, like, having the artistic people around us that we had to create this character, Matt and Ross, Barry Gower, you know, who has created the Night King and loads of other amazing creatures. You know, we are people that truly are passionate about what it is that we're doing. And hopefully when you get enough of those people who care to work on one thing, bleeds through to the final product. And so that's what I hope for. So yeah, hopefully it's the fact that people can understand it and that we care.
Maybe a good guy next.
Maybe. Maybe, who knows?
You all started Stranger Things as kids, and now you're closing the story as young adults. So was there a moment during filming when it really hit you like, oh, this is the end of our ride together? Like, and how did that feeling change the way you act or behave on set this season?
You try not to let it affect the way you act or just how you are on set in general, but I think it inevitably does, right? You know, it's so hard not to have it in the back of your mind that you're wrapping something up. But I think if anything, it gave us a drive to really try to give everything we got. I was really proud of everybody and the effort that was put in. And I think for me, it hit probably the last few months as we started to count down the last few weeks. We'd have conversations like, hey, 9 weeks left, 6 weeks left. So it started to trickle in slowly, at least for me.
The kids of the show have said before how Stranger Things changed their life because they grew up in it, but I imagine that the feeling is different for you. So when you finished shooting your last scene, what this moment of closure meant to you, to your career?
Somebody took a photograph of me on my final day just after I'd shot my last scene, and I look like a man who's just sort of like dropped all of his bags that he's been carrying for 3 years. Like the weight has gone from my shoulders. I'm like, I can finally let this go now, it's done. I don't know, I think I really came to this project with the words yes in my heart and in my head. So any references and any divine intervention that came my way, I just went, okay, cool, great, I'll take it. And that really helped me build this character. I just stayed open for as long as I needed to. And that does change you artistically, I think. Even musically, I think it's changed me too. Like, I was so used to constructing music that had to exist in a format and in a box, and it had to be for 3 guitars and a bass and drums. And now I'm like, well, it's gonna be whatever it wants to be. It doesn't have to be one particular thing. It can be anything. Like, it doesn't matter. So there's that. That's, I think, fundamentally how it probably has changed me the most, is just by remaining receptive and open. Yeah.
I assume one of the hardest parts of ending a show this big is the fear of disappointing fans, like what happened with Game of Thrones, for example. And how do you all deal with that pressure and still trust the stories the Duffers are telling?
It was just wanting to, yes, for the fans, and also just to do service to the writing. You know, the brothers care so much about characters, and they care so much about it being satisfying and wrapping it up, and that was on the page. You know, we read that, and I think, you know, you just want to give service to that as best you can.
Yeah, I also feel like, you know, people put so much pressure on things, and I remember feeling a lot of pressure before we started, but now I really like, and maybe this sounds really selfish, but I'm just like, I really care about us and how we feel about it and how we feel about the work that we did and how the Duffers feel about it. And if the Duffers feel good and we feel good, then like la 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 to the rest of it.
Yeah, I mean that's like sort of the success of season 1 is just making the things that you want to make, and you know the Duffers always had a vision, so I think that that's what's worked.
If you're trying to guess what an audience is going to like, you're probably not going to get it right.
Yeah.
I don't think we ever had that feeling when we were shooting. I think it was before we got the scripts, and it wasn't even we, it was just I was thinking about how notoriously like final seasons of TV are there is a lot of kind of controversy surrounding a lot of different final seasons or series and series finales, so
You weren't alone in feeling this. This is general anxiety I think a lot of people have.
yeah, and then we got the scripts and we started filming, and that kind of went away. So like, I think at a certain point you have to just trust that the filmmakers know what they're doing, and I think very early on it was clear that we had something really awesome.
The season brings the story full circle now by having a new group of kids in the spotlight, so now the show feels closer to season 1 again. Did that help you guys reconnect with what made Stranger Things so special at the beginning?
Yeah, I think this last season definitely paid homage to the first season and the relationships. I think with the story, it kind of brings that out in a way to like where the core of how the show is and what it was. And I think there's a novelty that will be missed from the show that has made an impact on people, even myself.
Young castmates around, I think, does feel nostalgic, and you know, and it brings that element of obviously you know these seasons have matured over time, and I think they've gotten, you know, bigger and more serious and scarier, and I think, you know, that levity, I think it's really nice to have that around. Would you feel?
Oh man, that's hard to specify without spoiling.
That's crazy.
I'll say that Matt and Ross really know how to end episodes really, really well. Yeah. So anytime you get towards the last like 10, 15 minutes of any episode, there's usually going to be something pretty special. They seem to make kind of mini movies, and that's always something that works really well. So every one of them feels like there's something special. I wish we could give you better answers, but we got people looking over our shoulders over there.
I can think of one.
Yeah.
Probably we're all thinking the same one.
There are a lot, I mean, it's hard to say anything, you know?
All that to say,
Lots.
yeah, I think there's a lot to look forward to. Everybody really shines in their own special way, which is always great. It's just cool to see everybody sort of really comfortable and in their own skin. And
And
There's also a new character that is particularally divine.
Absolutely. I would
That I cannot wait for the world to celebrate and meet.
I don't want to call them kids anymore, but just like their performances, like they're so mature, and you know. I know, I was rewatching some of it last night, and there were some moments where I was like really impressed.
Was it difficult to start right in the middle of chaos instead of slowly building up like in past seasons?
It was cool. It was nice being able to kind of just get into the action kind of immediately. I think we were all prepared for it anyways. I think what we were told a while back before shooting season 5, that it would be still contained in Hawkins, but also kind of start like we hit the ground running. Maybe it takes a little, like a second to get
get used to that. But after a while, it felt normal. It's funny, like I think that I thought was month 2, and I was like, man, usually this is like month 6 on a normal on a normal season when it comes to like energy and the scenes that we're filming and stuff. But the way that the episodes are set up, it's like the end of episode 1 would be like the mid-series finale of season 3. You know what I mean? Or the scale is different, but I feel like it feels the same when it comes down to it and you're acting together.